They did a pretty good job. You can see that 99, Shamari, he's growing. He's growing in there. He's still not as vocal as we'd like him to be as a MAC linebacker, and I think that's just him still getting used to the position. But you can see him flying around day in, day out. And Abraham Cromer's doing a good job as a rookie, and Brackenridge is doing some things. That's probably one of the hardest positions to play dime linebacker on any team. So I assess that group as at least a C, and it's probably headed more towards a B with them being so young.
Where could they improve?
The biggest thing is just their film study and recognition. And, I can say this week that I have seen improvement in that group. They are studying more film, and they are communicating more. I think that's the biggest thing, just making them comfortable and being able to know what they see. If they see the backs going out, say out, here comes the end. Just those little things, just get them comfortable.
Is there more to the safety position now than there was, say, back then when you'd like to have your safety just sit back there and you had your hardest hitter and you just want somebody to knock somebody's block off? But now is it a little more advanced than it used to be, because Butler is that kind of throwback safety, is he not?
Yeah, well, the thing about it now is they have 5 guys when they line up and they can all run. Back when Glenn Suter played. No, I'm just kidding. No, those type safeties are hard hitting, but the game has evolved that there's a lot of speed. And when you're asking to go man to man, you need to at least be able to cover from the middle of the field close to the numbers, but not all the way out there. And like I said, a lot of ours are coming close to the numbers and away from the numbers. And if you look at them, they're coming away from James Patrick, but Butler can do the job. But like I said, he's doing a nice job, and the good thing about it is we have so much talent is it doesn't matter, because if Butler's playing there, now JP's sitting somewhere. So the whole thing is we have enough talent to where if somebody goes down, we're good.
What did the secondary do in that first matchup that really held the receivers of BC tighter than maybe they've experienced earlier this season?
Well, the thing about it is they were a young group, and they played fast, and I think at the point we were clicking on all cylinders there. So we'll see how that goes coming into this second one. I think our technique is getting better over the last day or so. Just some of the things we're doing to make sure that they're more focused in their technique. Whereas early in the season, they have fresher legs and they're just able to run because they're younger. But right now, the vets know what they're like, so they're going to have to make sure they're technicians from here on out.
How do you like what you've gotten out of Jock Sanders so far?
I like what I've gotten out of Jock. Jock is a good player, and like I said, he was a phenomenal player at West Virginia. He just needs to get more comfortable with the terminology and things of that sort, and I think that he'll be a huge asset for us.
Was last week sort of a sign of him evolving as part of the offense? First 2 plays where the ball was in his hands.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is we have to put the ball in the playmaker's hands, and we have a number of them. And the biggest thing is you don't want to just have too many guys sitting around waiting on it. He's a guy that can make things happen. The more comfortable he gets in the offense, I think the more we'll see him with the ball.
How many ways can you use him? I mean, he can be in the backfield, receiver, return kicks. Is the versatility something you really like there?
Well, that was the biggest thing when we brought him in. We wanted that type of guy, and I think he's doing that. But like I said, at the same time, we have a wish and demand for him to do it, but there's still a learning curve for him. So we don't want to give him too much and rush him too soon. He's a guy that we'd like to grow into that position.
Nick Williams got a chance to play last week. What did you feel about his
performance? You know what? He was right there. I wish he'd got a sack to confirm that he was rushing the way he was rushing, but he had some good rushes. He had some good pressure for us, and I'm excited to see how he'll be in the next game or 2 or 3 games once he gets comfortable inside and learns what the flow of a game is like. But I'm happy with the addition of he and Jay Alford in the inside.
You'll continue to rotate then, like you did last week?
Yeah, we'll continue to rotate those guys, Sholo included, and hopefully we can get to the day to where we can also add Zach Evans in there.
Did TJ Harris's offside mistakes possibly cost him a roster spot this week?
No, anytime, as a first-time person, you're going to make any type of mistakes. The biggest thing we have to look at is, the experience of each player, and if someone goes down, and that's what we got to look at is how can we back up all spots, not just one spot. So, we got to get, you don't want to have too many young guys on the roster at one time. You got to have guys that can back up more than one spot. We ran into a situation to where I think Taj was down, and it was like, who's going to play what? And we want to make sure we're efficient all the way across. So he has to do a little learning more than one spot in case things happen.
Is that where Ephraim Hill's availability becomes more appealing?
Well, at the same time, those guys are going to always compete for a roster spot with me because I want more production out of both of them. And like I said, it's not just catches and yards. I just want them to be more leaders and more on their assignments. And I think that TJ did a good job. I think we all had some mistakes, but I think he'll continue to improve.
No Chris Patrick or Nick Graham today. What are their status?
Their status is up in the air right now. We may be making a couple of roster moves. We just got to make sure that the numbers are where they need to be and make some decisions on those guys pretty soon.
No Khalif Mitchell, I know that for sure now against you guys.
Do
Does that
you?
matter?
Oh, not to me.
Yeah.
Who's going in after him?
Exactly. That's
Yeah, that's all I care about. Who's the next guy? I mean, he's a beast. But the one thing I can tell you is BC Lions, they have a stable over there. So before there was Khalif Mitchell, there was Aaron Hunt. So I'm sure they'll bring out another one that gives us problems. So we don't know what, and sometimes it's better to know who you have than who you don't have.
Corey, they're number one across the board in a lot of categories. What's the one thing about that team that impresses you the most?
Well, that's a veteran group. And since I've been in this league, half of their players are still there. So, they should know this league in and out, and they should be number one in a couple of areas. The quarterback, they have he's not a young quarterback anymore. They have explosive back. They have line with, when you look at all those guys, Ben Archibald, all those guys, Olafoye, he was a guy that NFL looked at. They have talent across the board, but they have veteran talent. So, that's why they're number one, and they're doing the things to stay number one.
The media is already asking Paul LaPolice in Winnipeg about his job security. Is that fair to put on a guy 6 games into the season?
Every organization is different. The thing about it is I know he had an extension, but every organization, they have their mindset, and no different here. If they feel that this is not the direction they want to go, it's up to them. It's their money, it's their team. We're just hired hands to run it. So it's fair. It's up to whoever's deciding what's fair and what's not fair.